AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
23 to 12 on 5AA. Joining me now, Penny Reidy, Marketing Communications Manager for the SA Produce Market and Campaign Manager for Pick a Local, Pick SA. Let's talk about what's in season. Penny, good morning. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me. Always great to come back and let the listeners know what's being grown in South Australia at the moment and what is filling the shelves of their local fruit and veg stores.
Absolutely. Well, we're in the last month of winter now, officially anyway, on the calendar. 1st of August. What is around? What's good this time of year?
Well, we're right in the thick of citrus season. It does feel like citrus season goes for a long time, but one of the things I love about it is like nearly every week we've got new varieties. It's not like it's just an orange. There's lots of different oranges or mandarins or whatever. So, for example, this week we've seen Cara oranges in supply. So they're a pink flesh navel. They're smaller than a navel and they've got a bit of a thinner skin and a pinker flesh. So they're really prized for their sweetness. So if you're looking for a navel that's got something a little bit different, also looks really nice, like the pink flesh of it as well. So maybe you could put it into your cocktails if you're having them at home at the moment, or on a platter or whatever, just something a little bit different. So have a look for the Cara oranges.
We've tried blood oranges lately, and they're okay. Bit of an acquired taste, but not terribly different, I suppose. They're sweet enough. Yeah. But nothing like if you then have a navel. Wow.
It's very different. Absolutely. Yeah. But the blood oranges, the flesh colour of them, it's quite amazing, really, isn't it?
So it's not quite that in the Cara.
No. The Cara is more of a pink flesh. So,
What is red is ruby red grapefruits.
Yes. Now, I know. I remember you saying that you liked grapefruits. Do you? Yeah. So I'm not a massive fan of grapefruits. They're quite tart for me. So if you're like me and you don't like the traditional grapefruits, it's the ruby red. So, look, they're anti-inflammatory, improve your gut health, boost the metabolism. So they're a great one to include in the diet. Okay. But the ruby reds are generally sweeter and less acidic than the white ones. So it does make it a little bit more palatable for people like me that don't like the normal grapefruits.
we had a tree of them at home and I couldn't look at them because they were so tart. As a kid, you know, you're just too strong. But as I was, probably a teenager into my 20s, they were actually with a bit of sugar sometimes.
I was going to say, were you adding some sweetness into them?
So you do need sometimes they're okay, but if they're especially tart, sprinkle of sugar just makes them fantastic. Yeah,
well, if you don't want to add the sugar, try ruby red instead, and you might get the same sort of sweetness as well. The other thing we have seen that recently is one of our local growers. They're called Venus, who are up in the Riverland. They've introduced this new line of eco citrus. Right. So they're packaged eco citrus. So they're naturally farmed. So what that means is that they've kind of gone back to the old traditions of farming. And they're sustainably grown and handpicked, so they're like less pesticides, more sustainable farming. So if you are conscious about the environment and your carbon footprint and sustainability, have a look at those lines. They've only just started to hit the stores now. I've just literally seen them in the produce market, so they'll be hitting the stores, and you'll find them in Tangelos, Caracaras, navel, blood oranges, and mandarins. So have a look out for them.
Sustainable is interesting, isn't it? Again, back in the day in the garden with the fruit trees, my parents would throw out the fruit peels and leftover food and whatever under the fruit trees.
Not a great idea now.
No, these days all in the green bin, but apparently the composting of it just helped enormously. So the argument went.
I can remember doing that as well, and or you would throw your banana peel out because it's compostable. It's all fine. But the problem is that it does increase the risk of fruit flies.
Yes,
and we know with a $3 billion horticulture industry here in South Australia, we have to do everything that we can to protect that industry. So the old days of like chucking your banana skin out the window or putting peels underneath a tree, probably not the best practice anymore.
So if it's a clean piece of fruit like a peel, no fruit fly in it, where does the fruit fly come from?
I think they eat on it. I'm not a fruit fly expert, but I just know that it's not a good idea. It's a bit like when we had the big fruit fly outbreak a couple of years ago. I know that PIRSA invested a lot of time going to people's home gardens and clearing their off, like particularly if you've got elderly people people that can't get to their trees and can't pick everything off. That was one of the things that PIRSA actually did invest in, was going into homes that couldn't do that, because it is quite dangerous when that fruit like falls to the ground and rots, etc.
Okay, interesting. There we go. All right.
So with lots of citrus around, we are doing some sampling. We had Adelaide Fresh Morphettvale did a great citrus week last week.
Yeah.
Every day they kind of had something different so that you could go, and they did a blood orange salsa.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing what you can do. It's not just about, eating fresh, it's about what you can do with it. So it's great to see some of our local picker safe stores really embracing the South Australian citrus. And if any of your listeners live Kapunda way or are heading off to the Barossa on Friday for a day out, pop into Cooper's Fresh on Kapunda between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. and they'll be sampling a heap of in-season South Australian citrus as well. So if you want to try some, head in there and have a look around.
All right. What's happening at Barsh Brothers?
Yes, so Barsh Brothers is one of our wholesalers at the South Australian Produce Market, and they've got a Facebook and Instagram page, and they're doing a heap of citrus giveaway for our community sports programs. So if you've got a netball club, a football club, a soccer club or whatever, and you'd like some oranges for your halftime, head on to the Barsh Brothers Instagram. It's Barsh, B-A-C-H-E, onto the Instagram or Facebook, register your sporting club, and they might just pop out with a heap of oranges already cut up, ready to go to fuel those kids that are playing sports on a Saturday.
What a great idea. That's wonderful. Bananas, mentioning the peels. What about the eco ones?
Yeah, so I thought I would talk about it. You may have noticed in your local fruit and veg shop a banana that's got a red tip to it.
Waxy tip.
Yeah, so a wax tip.
They've been around for years.
Yeah, they have been, but a lot of people kind of don't really know what it is, and they're like, what is that red wax? So it's actually a wax that's patented by a Queensland grower, so an Australian technology. And when you see it, you know that it's an eco-organic banana. So that means a bit like the eco citrus that we talked about that Venus have introduced. The eco bananas means that they're grown sustainably, they're hand-picked, it's natural farming, less pesticides, insecticides. But it's not just that. The banana growers say that they are actually a smoother and sweeter texture to them. So I know one of my wholesalers in the market said that he would love to set up in Rundle Mall a taste testing between a normal banana and an eco banana, a bit like the old Coke versus Pepsi, and see if anyone can taste the difference. So maybe we'll look at that for National Banana Day that's in October. Maybe we should bring some in and get you to try them.
I'd love to do that, because you know what? I'm not a big fan of the eco bananas, because they do have a different taste, and it's only the acquired taste, I suppose. You're used to the traditional bananas as opposed to the eco ones. So I don't go for them.
Ah, there you go.
So I would like to do a taste test. That would be interesting.
A blind taste
Yeah,
test.
absolutely.
So we could definitely try that for you.
All right, let's do that. What's around in the veg space?
Well, it is still cold, so we're still doing lots of roasting and stews and curries. It's that kind of year. It's not really salad time of year. So it's good to know that there's some great varieties being grown in South Australia, so that you know that you're buying them locally. So flat beans, there's plenty of them around at the moment, packed full of vitamins, great for your heart health, and a way to reduce your iron deficiency. So if you haven't picked any of them up lately, pick some up and add them in. I know I don't regularly buy them, but knowing that they're in good supply and tasting good at the moment, it's a good time to add them in.
Okay. Parsnips. Now, I saw this and thought immediately, I don't know why, of Siberian peasants. Now, I can't tell you why.
I don't know the connection there. I can't figure that one out.
But what's the deal with parsnips? So they're around, obviously.
They're in good time. So people love to put them in roast soups and stews. A lot of people are doing Christmas in July at the moment. So if you're doing that and want to add them into your menu, then that's a really good addition.
All right. So they're a popular thing?
They are very popular this time of year, actually. And I've heard that our parsnips are absolutely quality here in South Australia.
I don't know I've ever had a parsnip anything.
There you go. Parsnip soup, parsnip being roasted. Yeah, plenty of options.
Got to try. How about dill? Maybe that's what I am.
Listen, I thought I'd add this in because we do actually grow a lot of herbs here in South Australia as well. And it's funny, we sometimes we kind of forget to add them into the shopping, and it's amazing how much different flavour profile you can get just by adding a herb in. So dill's one that I've had in my kitchen the last few weeks, and I've found it really handy. And I'll do things like roast potatoes and put it in with that. But even mashing potatoes, if you're mashing potatoes, like there's a flavour that you get from a mashed potato, but add some dill into it, and it just completely changes the dish. We work a lot with our brand ambassador Callum Han, and he always says add herbs, add spices. So it's good to know that they're grown in South Australia, and I just thought I would inspire your listeners to grab some dill this week.
My wife puts it into potato salad. It's fantastic. Just really good.
Yes, and traditionally you would use it during those during those summer times, but you can also include it in your winter cooking
as well. That's interesting. Give that a go. And Brussels sprouts.
I know we've spoken about them a few times before. It's interesting. So the one of the growers here in South Australia sent me down a package of them. They're in abundant supply at the moment, and we do grow like 90% of Brussels sprouts come out of South Australia. So there's great supply at the moment. And a recent report actually said that Australians are increasing their consumption of Brussels sprouts. So the growers are very happy about that. But the grower sent me a package of a heap of Brussels sprouts, and she said try them in the air fryer.
Really?
So the air fryer is such a thing at the moment, like everyone's got one, don't they?
Yeah.
And if you love your air fryer, you love your air fryer. So really good, different way to do. So, of course, I cut them in half and then toss them in some oil and some seasoning. I mean, it's really about the seasoning, isn't it?
Yeah, hides the taste.
So, and I also think with air fryer, you still need to put oil in it. So let's be honest. So try them in the air fryer. It's only about 10, 15 minutes in there. Just give them a bit of a coat, chuck them in there. It's a quick and easy way to include them. You can put them on, go out, walk the dog, and come back, and you've got some Brussels sprouts ready to go.
I did read somewhere or heard it might have been someone I was speaking to some weeks ago, saying about the fact we have traditionally boiled them, and they just taste terrible as a result.
They're just soggy.
But if you cook them and learn how to cook them really well, apparently they're actually okay.
Exactly. So that's why it's about trying different things. So in the air fryer, I had my friends and I did Christmas in July on the weekend, and we had a Brussels sprout salad in it so they were raw, and she just shredded them and then added like some cranberries and some pine nuts and a bit of olive oil and lemon and it was actually delicious.
Really?
So even raw. So it's about finding those different ways of doing it. I've done before where I've shred them and used them almost like meat and made like added taco seasoning and onion and capsicum with them and put them into tacos, and that was quite good as well. So very clever of this Brussels sprout grower. She sends me recipe inspiration, and like you said, if you find a way to cook with them a little bit different than what we're traditionally used to, then it gives it a whole new dimension, doesn't it?
Tammy reckons sautéed with leek and speck.
Oh, that sounds pretty good. Good one, Tammy.
Bring that in. Good on you, Penny. And, of course, look for red Pick a Local, Pick SA signs in your local fruit and veg store. That means you're supporting SA.
Yes, it means you're buying from a South Australian business, family-owned business, and they're buying their produce from the wholesale market out at Paraka and supporting our South Australian growers. So it's a great way to see the sign and spend some money in there, and you're supporting the local economy.
And recipes and inspiration on the Facebook page for Pick a Local, Pick SA as well, so worth a follow.
Absolutely. And we'll be at the Royal Adelaide Show this year. Can you believe the countdown's on? Tickets are on sale today.
From today. So tickets are on sale, which is fantastic. And yes, you're at the shows. Normal sort of place in that, which pavilion are you in?
We're in the Goiter Pavilion, just near the main stage. You'll find us. So we're actually 2 stops on the Yellow Brick Road. So if you buy a Yellow Brick Road bag, they're a great way to get around the show and navigate your way around. So we'll be handing out bananas as one of the stops. And then we'll have some missile apples from Lenswood as our other stop.
Excellent.
We've got things like Callum Han coming on the Monday to do a cooking demonstration with us. We've got Radio Italiana coming to broadcast. We'll have sampling of things like purple potato chips and high fresh salads and Ashton Valley juices. So
excellent.
Different things happening every day, and I'm sure I might even bump into you while I'm there.
We'll be down there. 5AA will be down there as well. So, Penny, look forward to seeing you there.
Thanks for having me.
Good on you. Penny Reidy from Pick a Local, Pick SA, the marketing and campaign manager for that, and also, of course, from SA Produce Market out there at Paraka. It is 9 minutes to 12 now on 5AA.